Black Ops 7 Season 1 has officially dropped, so we're going to be going over all of the new settings so you can actually enjoy the update. First off, we have the audio. Now, this is going to kind of depend if you have a headset or not. For me, I use the Kiwi Orchestra Lights. It's the same thing as a headset. It's just earbuds instead, so it doesn't mess up my hair and things. For the frequencies, you want to use this for the left and the right channel. This is going to make it so you can hear footsteps so much better. For the 250, you have it at 50, and then 50, 10, 5, -5, all the way to the bottom. You want to do that for the left channel and the right channel. This is mostly only if you have a headset. Now, to access that, you have to turn on the asymmetrical hearing compensation. Night and day difference. But if you don't notice a crazy difference and you feel like you're tweaking on the map, then I just would keep everything default. Only use that if you actually notice a difference. And then for the audio mix, we're going to do Sucker Punch, or you can do the Treyarch Bass Boost. I think Sucker Punch is going to be better for most people. Over here, you can purchase the enhanced headphone mode. Obviously, if you want to hear everything the best, I would purchase it, but I don't really recommend giving money to this company. It's my job, though. I'm trying to do the best of the best, so I'm going to purchase that. And then for the enhanced headphone mode configuration, you can basically get like a personalized one, and that one's proven to not really do much for you. But overall, though, that wraps it up for the audio settings. Another very important thing is you want your microphone level at 100, so you're the loudest one in the lobby. And then make sure you have it on body shield chat on. Don't be soft. Have your proximity chat on as well. And then, so another very important thing is on the account and network. If your game tends to crash a lot, I would turn off dismember and gore effects. This also usually helps out with your FPS. For me, though, I have everything, like everything seems fine. So I'm going to keep it on. And then I need to, I don't know why I'm so soft, and I have profanity filter on. A lot of the time, in the updates, it resets everything for you. Another thing, if your settings reset whenever you load up the game, turn off clouded settings. That's going to help a bunch. It's going to wrap it up for the account and network and the audio settings. Now, we'll do interface, super important, but I'll do that one last. Now, this video is going to be encompassing everything but keybind. So if you're on PC, console, use a controller, this is a perfect video for you. I was iridescent like every Call of Duty, so I feel like I know what I'm talking about. And I'm using a Xbox Elite V2 controller. This controller has the paddles on the back, allowing me to have good movement while also having good aim. You don't want to have to take your thumb off to hit the jump button. You just want to be able to click down or click on these back buttons. Now, if you don't have a fancier controller, you can still play default. You can just play claw, which if you play claw, you have your pointer finger up here hitting these buttons. And it's just very important that you play claw, or you change your button layout over here to the bumper jumper tactical. If you do bumper jumper tactical, this is going to allow you to jump with the bumper, and then you can crouch with that right stick. I have this flipped, so I'm shooting with the bumpers rather than the triggers, which obviously if you're clicking a button, you can click that button faster than pulling down a trigger. And so that's why I have it on default flipped. Everything's default because I have paddles, but I'm shooting with my bumpers. By the way, if you want every camo in Black Ops 7, make sure you check out my long-term sponsor, Guapsi. This is a group of people who will legitimately grind your account to unlock anything you want. This goes for all the master camos, iridescent, like actually anything, and they don't break TOS or play with cheaters, so there's absolutely no risk of being banned. I've worked with them for the past 3 years and haven't seen a single negative review. And so if you want all the mastery camos or iridescent rank risk-free, make sure you check out guapsi.com. I'll have their link down in the description. For the sensitivities, I wouldn't really put that much thought. I would just keep it between like 1.4 and 1.8. A lot of the professionals have it on like 1.7. Previously, everyone would use, for the most part, 1.6. But since this game has wall jumping and people jumping over you, it's kind of helpful to have a little bit of a higher sensitivity, which is why I'm using 1.7. This doesn't really correlate to your aim. I promise you, for the most part, you can get used to any sensitivity. This is more so for your centering. So you're moving around the map, passive aiming, and this is going to help you center better. So then you have a higher chance to hit that first shot, therefore win the gunfight, because you have aim assist on the target that's already slowing down your aim completely. And if you go over to the aiming tab and you do advanced settings, have your aim response curve type on dynamic. This literally makes your aim so sticky to where you can use any sensitivity. If you still can't aim on any sensitivity, you just got to go into a private match, play against some bots. You got some things to work on, because overall you should be able to use any sensitivity. For the simplified controls preset and the low motor strain, you have those on off. Bumper ping, if you like to ping, you can have it on. I swapped the bumpers with the triggers, and this again just allows me to shoot with the bumpers, allows me to trigger finger a little bit faster rather than having to pull down a trigger. And I do have trigger locks on my controller, so like I only can pull down my trigger a little bit of the way, but it's still like slower than clicking a button, and so that's why I do actually like to have it on flipped. And then we're going to be going over to the controller vibration. If you play with this on, it's going to be very awkward at the beginning, but promise you less things vibrate in your hand. should and will lead to better aim. Then you can but you can always just, you know, lower the intensity if you really like the vibration for some reason. Dead zones, you want to copy this, but you don't want to copy this. Left stick min, my guy, actually I'm gonna have that at 0, so then if I want to move, it's immediately responsive. He does walk forward a little bit by himself, but I want it to be very responsive. For the left stick max, we're gonna have this at 65. You want to keep it between 45 and 65 because this is basically going to make it so if you want to move your stick from the center, to get to 100% movement speed, all you got to do is move it to 65% of the way. If you have it at 100, you got to move it from the start all the way to the end to get the max movement speed. But if you have it at like this low, then it makes it so you accidentally move in ways that you don't really mean to. So that's why I say the lowest you should go is like 45. But for me, I found that 65 is pretty darn good. Right stick min, I don't really have any stick drift, but if you have it at 0, it's a little bit too responsive. Like sometimes it feels a lot more sticky and you stick on the target more the higher the dead zone is, but then it's less responsive. And that's kind of why. And so 3 for me is good. The highest I would ever really go is 5. After that, you probably want to get a new controller. Right stick max 99. Left trigger, right trigger, we're going to have those at 0. So the second you hit that bumper or that trigger, it's going to register on the game. Target aim assist, obviously you want that on. Also, if you find this video helpful, make sure you drop a subscription with the noties on if you want to get notified whenever the best builds come out. Now, sprint assist, you want this on tactical, sprint assist sideways on, and sprint assist backwards on. And the delay, you want that on 0, so everything's very responsive. Mantle assist off, automatic airborne mantle off. I hate when it resets my things. Wingsuit activation, manual, thanks for kicking me out. For the corner slice, this doesn't really matter, it's all personal preference, but majority of pro players have this off. Wall jump assist, so this one you could put it on sideways only and you're gonna feel like a movement god on the map, but you might accidentally jump in situations that you don't really want to jump. So definitely try it. You might really like, you might have a lot more fun, but sometimes you're gonna feel like a pega ball just getting thrown around the map. For me, I like to be a little bit more in control with my jumps and when I do jump, because a lot of the time you will accidentally jump, but it can be kind of broken and make you do some crazy plays on the enemy. So definitely try that on. You might have some fun. Combat roll assist, we're going to have that off. For the slide/die behavior, we're going to have this on the hybrid. And then what the hybrid basically does is allow you to dolphin dive and slide. If you never dolphin dive and you find yourself accidentally dolphin diving with this, put it on slide only. That's going to remove all delays. Hybrid also has no delays. If you do any other one, there's going to be a weird delay when you try to slide or dive. I can control when I dive and slide and things like very easily. At first I couldn't, but after about a week I got really used to it and I was doing a lot better with the hybrid, since sometimes it is helpful to dive out of a situation. And then for the sprint restore, very important, on. Same with the slide, maintain sprint on. Parachute automatic behavior, we're going to have that off. Wingsuit activation, manual. Wall jump activation, we're going to have this on press. Slide/combat roll behavior, tap to slide. Combat roll third person movement, advanced settings. All this stuff doesn't matter too much except for grounded mantle, but you want this off. If your game feels a little bit weird, then you can basically turn that on, but that might screw you over, and it kind of screws me over a lot of the time. I don't know why that was on. Tactical sprint activation, we're going to have this on single tap sprint. This basically makes it so if you're laying down or you go to sprint or something, like it's just you can automatically do a little bit faster. Plunging underwater, we're going to have this on free. Sprinting door bash on, and that's everything for the movement side of things. If you can have this off, and this is helpful, but it might make it so you can't call in your streaks, and that literally always happens to me, where you have to have it on short delay for you to call in your streaks, but not for everyone. It's just a weird glitch in the game. For the combat side of things, we're going to have the ADS side behavior on hold. Weapon mount activation, ADS plus melee, dedicated melee weapon activation, hold melee. We're going to prioritize the Diddy. No, yeah, prioritize the Diddy. What? Why? Dude, all my settings get reset and it pisses me off. Armor plate behavior, apply all. C4 detonation all at once. Hold, press, combat advanced settings. We're going to go over here to the prioritize interact. If that's annoying and you find yourself picking up random guns when you don't mean to, prioritize reload is good if you don't want to learn the better one. If you like to play Warzone 2, the prioritize interact is so much better. If you think about it, if you're in a gunfight and you run out of ammo, it's faster to pick up a gun off the floor if there is one rather than reload. So I'd rather just tap to reload, like tap the pickup button, so then I can pick it up and I can hope that there's ammo in there and win the gunfight, rather than like having to hold to pick it up and things like that. But if it's super annoying, you don't want to learn it, just do prioritize reload, and then everything else on here doesn't really matter too much. All personal preference. Scoreboard / map stats behavior, we're going to have it on toggle. Overlay advanced settings. My bad. This is where if you have this on off, it's not going to allow you to call in streaks for some people. So for me, I have to have it on moderate or else I can't call in streaks. That was a bug in like Black Ops 6, but a lot of things that they did in this game, they copied and pasted from the other game, which is super annoying. That's going to wrap it up for all the controller settings. If you're curious what I have on here, these are control freaks. And so this basically makes it so I don't have to move the stick as much if I wanted to rotate or register on the screen. And then this one just gives me a little bit of grip. I do have a link for the Control Freak website in my description if you are curious about that. And you can get 15% off or 10% off if you use code CBAS at checkout. Now, for the graphic settings, this is going to be obviously mostly for PC, but if you're on console, still stay tuned. Some things will apply to you, and I'm going to quickly go through everything. I have a dual PC, so full screen borderless is a little bit better, but full screen exclusive removes all the input delay. Everything else on here, it doesn't matter too much. NVIDIA reflex low latency, we're going to have it on. I'm trying to maximize all FPS in the game. We're going to have eco mode preset custom, VSync menus, gameplay, and menus off. Custom frame limit, we have it at 300 in game. Menu 60, out of focus 30. Reduce menu render resolution, optimal pause game rendering off. Reduce quality when inactive off. Focus mode 0. High dynamic range HDR off. HDR calibration, doesn't really matter too much. Graphic preset custom. So this is something that's new that I've been trying to do. I still kind of like fidelity a little bit more. I'll usually do fidelity, then increase it to 100 and everything looks amazing. But a lot of people have been saying NVIDIA actually is a little bit better. And there was like input delay, but it actually really isn't. You got to find the one that's best for you. NVIDIA actually has been feeling pretty good. I have it on balanced NVIDIA DLSS model transformer. Then you have it up to 100. And I've been getting a little bit more FPS and things have been working a little bit better, but also kind of like fidelity more. So I've been going between the two. Just try both of them and see which one works best on your thing. And then we're going to have the frame generation off, ray tracing reflections off, VRAM scale target. We're going to have that at 90 given. If you are on one PC, I would have it at like 70 or 80, but I'm only running the game on here. So I have it at 90 just to really try to pull every resource I can. For the field of view, I wouldn't go past 105 unless you're trying to have fun on the game. It looks like the gameplays look faster, it looks more enjoyable when I have it on a higher FOV, but I would definitely you'll have better aim if you have it on a lower one. All the professional players, they use like 97, 98, 100. A couple of them use like 105. That's because the maps aren't that big. You're playing multiplayer. You don't need to see that much of the map, and the bigger the FOV, the smaller the targets are going to be. So it's a lot easier to have better aim when you do have a lower FOV. So if I'm playing rank play, I'll use like 100 or 103. If I'm playing pubs, I'll usually have it at like 110 because I just think it's a little bit more fun. And then for the ADS field of view affected, weapon field of view, I'm gonna have that on wide. Vehicle field of view and default, actually you want that on wide. World motion blur and weapon motion blur, make sure those are both on off. Inverted flashbang off, on, doesn't really matter. It's going to wrap it up for the graphics. Now lastly, for the interface, this is going to make your game look so much better, night and day difference, and just make it so you can read everything on your screen a lot better. Menu prompts automatic, tutorials off, skip introduction movie, screw all that, on, skip the kill cam off, tooltips off, telemetry, I like to show my FPS, my server latency, and my packet loss. And then for the telemetry size, default, show the icons, doesn't really matter too much in here. More so, we've got to get over to the color customization. You want it on color filter target 2 and then both, and max those both out. It's going to make everything look a lot better. And then you can change the colors on here as you want, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to do the gameplay HUD. You want to, this is where you can basically make it so you have like a purple HUD. And when you get the black cell and like so on, they're going to be releasing more packs where you can change the HUD. And I think it's kind of fun to switch it. So I like to put it on the purple one, and then I have it on standard over here. And then for the visibility 10, scale, I like to make it a little bit bigger, so we have it at 10. A HUD info visibility on. HUD bounds, you want to make this as in as possible, so when you look at the minimap every 2 seconds, which you should, that gives you all the information of where all the enemies are without even a UAV for the most part, as long as you're getting kills. This is going to make it so you have to look at the minute, you don't have to turn your head or turn your eyes as much to get the vital information. Or with the kill feed as well, the kill feed tells you everything, which is why I like to keep it on default. If you have it on like anything else, it kind of like screws up the pacing of the game, because the kill feed tells you how much pressure you can put onto the map or how much pressure you should release. It tells you literally or what players to look for and stuff like that. And so default, if you put on anything else, it messes up the pacing of the game, and then you die off more nukes, and you don't really know how much pressure you put on the map or where enemies are going to be if the kill feed's off. And so yeah, radar, you're going to have the off. Menu map rotation on, same. Oh, compass on. Toggle minimap radar. I think you want this on if you want the minimap, but I haven't had it on and I have the minimap, so you might have to go back and turn that back on. It might screw it up a little bit, so I think that's on. I know compass, useless. You don't need that at all. Crosshair lines, we're going to have that on static. Makes hip firing and centering a lot better, so your passive aim is a little bit easier to be consistent with it. Center dot, we're going to have that on, and 100. Make it a nice little color that you like. Just max out saturation on. And then what I like to do is make it larger. If you're on a big TV, like anything 50-inch plus, have it on largest. Default large is good for monitors. I use a 27-inch one. Advanced motion control, that stuff doesn't matter because this is all, yeah, you don't need any of that stuff on there. Horizontal lines preset off. And that should wrap it up. Let me know if I did miss anything on here, but I'm pretty sure covered everything to where you should have the absolute best settings for the update. So hope you guys do enjoy it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and deuces.